The greatest tragedy in life is not death. It's living every day like you weren't born to win. You walk with your head down. You shrink in the face of challenge. You doubt your own power. But let me tell you something today. You were not born to be average. You were designed, wired, and constructed to win. And until you act like it, you will always settle for what you were never meant to carry. I came to interrupt your mindset today. I came to shake the dust off your destiny. It's time to act like you were meant to win, because you were. Winning begins in the mind. Winning is not first achieved in the courtroom, on the field, or in the boardroom. Winning starts in the battlefield of the mind. Your life will never rise higher than your thoughts. You cannot outperform your belief system. What you believe internally is what you eventually manifest externally. Most people have been trained from childhood to think small, to be careful, to shrink. Don't aim too high. They were told. People like us don't become great. And so, they internalized a ceiling that was never supposed to exist. They wear their limitations like a badge of honor, not knowing that the most dangerous prison is not made of steel bars. It's made of mental boundaries. You can always tell when someone has lost the battle in their mind. They give up before they begin. They make excuses before they try. They sabotage opportunities that were designed to lift them. They'll say things like, "That's too big for me," or "People like me don't get that far." But hear this, nothing is too big for a mind that has already claimed victory. The real battlefield is not out there. It's in your head. Let me show you something powerful. Two students walk into an exam room. One says, "I'm so bad at this subject, I know I'm going to fail." The other says, "This is tough, but I've prepared, and I'm going to give it everything I've got." They're sitting in the same room, facing the same questions, but only one has decided in advance that they've already lost. Which one do you think gets more out of their potential? It's not about the test, it's about the mental script they've chosen to believe. In every area of life, this law is true. You don't become what you desire. You become what you believe. There are people with incredible potential, massive intelligence, even rare opportunities, yet they live stuck, afraid to act, unsure of themselves. Why? Because they've never taken the time to reprogram the mindset that was formed by fear, failure, or the opinions of others. Imagine someone standing in front of a wide open door, but they never walk through it because in their mind, they still see a wall. That's what happens when you let mental defeat shape your vision. The door to greatness will always be open, but only the one who believes they belong on the other side will walk through it. You've got to start thinking like a winner. And thinking like a winner doesn't mean ignoring obstacles. It means refusing to let the obstacles dominate your mind. It means replacing doubt with decision. It means waking up in the morning and declaring, "Today I show up like I'm already qualified. Today I speak like I already have the favor. Today I walk like someone who's supposed to be in the room." Every breakthrough in history started with a decision in someone's mind. Someone said, "Enough is enough." Someone said, "I belong at the table." Someone said, "I might not have the resources, but I have the resolve." You don't need people to clap for you before you believe in yourself. You don't need the door to open before you act like the door can't stay closed. If you want to change your world, start by changing your words. Instead of saying, "I don't know if I can," start saying, "I'm going to grow until I can." Instead of saying, "What if I fail?" start saying, "What if this is the beginning of something greater than I imagined?" Listen, this is not motivation for the sake of noise. This is the principle of destiny. You attract what your mind agrees with. If your mind agrees with failure, it will seek ways to fulfill it. If your mind agrees with purpose, it will organize your life to find it. Your brain is designed to search for what you believe is true. That's why some people walk into a room and only see rejection, while others walk in and see opportunity. Same room, different lenses. Let me give you a daily life example. Have you ever decided to buy a specific type of car and suddenly you start seeing that exact car everywhere? It was always there, but your awareness changed because your mind began focusing on it. That's how vision works. When you begin to believe in your success, your mind starts filtering life in a way that brings success into focus. You start seeing doors where you used to see walls. You start noticing connections you used to ignore. You move with intention. You speak with clarity. One of the most powerful things you can ever do is edit your internal dialogue. If your inner voice is always criticizing you, doubting you, comparing you, then your outer life will mirror that torment. But when you renew your thinking, when you shift your internal script, you change what's possible for you. You have to train your thoughts like a warrior trains their body. You must catch every lie, every limiting belief, and confront it with truth. I'm not smart enough. Who told you that? I don't have the right background. Who made that rule? People like me don't succeed. Then be the first. The thoughts you tolerate are the thoughts that rule your life. Nobody becomes great by accident. And nobody wins by default. They win because they decided that their mind would no longer be a graveyard for self-doubt and defeat. They win because they rehearsed victory in their thinking long before the spotlight ever hit them. They win because they trained their brain to believe in the possibility of success, even when the evidence was lacking. Until you believe it in your mind, you will never hold it in your hands. Confidence is not arrogance, it's alignment. Confidence is one of the most misunderstood qualities in the world. People often mistake it for arrogance, pride, or ego. But real confidence has nothing to do with showing off. It's not about being loud, flashy, or trying to prove a point. Real confidence is quiet. It's rooted. Real confidence is alignment. A deep inner knowing that you are walking in who you were designed to be. When your identity aligns with your purpose, and your actions align with your assignment, what flows out of you is not arrogance. It's authenticity. People who are truly confident don't need to announce it. You feel it when they enter the room. You sense it when they speak. There's a peace around them. They're not comparing themselves. They're not trying to outshine anyone. They're just walking in sync with something higher than applause. They're walking in conviction. You see, arrogance needs to be seen, but confidence doesn't care who's watching. Arrogance tries to dominate, but confidence simply leads. Arrogance seeks validation, but confidence flows from identity. And you can only walk in that kind of confidence when you know who you are and why you're here. Confidence is not thinking you're better than others. It's knowing you're not competing with them. You are in your lane, and you are moving according to your design. Think of a lion in the wild. It doesn't roar to prove anything to the forest. It simply walks like it owns the ground it walks on, because it knows it's built to rule that territory. That's how you're supposed to live. Not loud, not boastful, but in full ownership of your identity. Most people don't lack talent. They lack alignment. They're gifted, but they're unsure. They're intelligent, but they second guess everything. Why? Because their actions are disconnected from who they really are. When your mind is unsure of your value, your voice will hesitate. When your identity is insecure, your posture will shrink. You'll apologize for being excellent. You'll downplay your brilliance. You'll step back when you were called to lead. And all of this happens not because you're incapable, but because your internal alignment is broken. I remember watching a young man step into a job interview. He was more qualified than anyone in the room. His resume was unmatched. His experience was solid. But when he opened his mouth, he trembled. His voice cracked. His eyes shifted around. He kept saying, "I don't know if I'm the right person, but I'll try." And I remember thinking, he doesn't need more credentials. He needs alignment. If he only believed what his resume already said, he would have owned that room. But his lack of alignment robbed him of his opportunity. And then there's the woman who walks into a business pitch. Her idea is not just good, it's revolutionary. But she questions herself. She says, "I hope this isn't a waste of your time." She starts from a place of apology, not authority. She shrinks her words to make others comfortable, not realizing that the very idea she's apologizing for could shift an entire industry. Again, misalignment. But watch someone who is aligned. Watch how they don't over-explain. Watch how they take up space without guilt. Watch how their tone doesn't rise to beg, but to declare. Not because they think they're perfect, but because they've accepted the truth. I may not have it all figured out, but I was built for this. You'll never walk in confidence until you silence the lies that told you to play small. Some of those lies were planted in childhood. Maybe someone told you to stay in your place. Maybe someone laughed when you dreamed out loud. Maybe life punched you so hard you started doubting your worth. But that version of you, that version who second guesses, who walks on eggshells, who waits for permission, that's not the real you. That's the bruised you. That's the conditioned you. That's the misaligned you. The real you doesn't flinch at opportunity. The real you doesn't ask to be accepted before you move. The real you doesn't apologize for your existence. The real you knows you've been placed on this earth for a reason, and you act accordingly. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. You don't have to be famous to be favored. You don't have to be aggressive to be confident. Sometimes confidence looks like calmness in a storm. Sometimes it's a soft no with no explanation. Sometimes it's a decision to show up fully even when no one's clapping. Every day you walk out of your house, you have a choice. Walk like you're waiting for validation, or walk like you've already been approved by purpose. People can feel the difference. Opportunities can feel the difference. Life opens up to those who walk in alignment. Alignment creates flow. When your values match your vision, when your goals match your gifts, when your posture matches your purpose, everything starts moving with clarity. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop striving and start creating. You stop surviving and start building. You were never called to fit in. You were called to stand out, not with noise, but with presence. When you're aligned, your energy shifts the room. People may not understand why, but they'll say things like, "There's something about you." What they're feeling is the power of someone who knows who they are. That's what the world is waiting for. Not for another loud talker, not for another performer, but for someone who's in tune with their true self. Someone who doesn't need applause to walk tall. Someone who's not trying to prove they're enough, because they already know they are. Winners are built, not born. Nobody is born a winner. Nobody enters this world with success pre-installed in their DNA. What you call a winner today was once someone with no idea how they would survive, let alone succeed. Winners are not born, they are built. Built through struggle, discipline, rejection, repetition, and a relentless refusal to quit. You don't wake up great. You grow into greatness. You don't inherit dominance. You develop it. The world wants to show you highlight reels, trophies, and stages, but it rarely shows the nights when no one clapped, the moments when quitting looked easier than continuing, and the lonely hours when someone chose to keep going without applause. Think of a world-class athlete. Do you know how many mornings they woke up before the sun just to run while everyone else was still sleeping? Do you know how many meals they sacrificed? How many events they skipped? How many friends didn't understand their obsession? But now people look at them and say, they were born for this. No, they were built for this. They built consistency. They built a standard. They built a mindset that refused to accept average as their destiny. A winner is not someone who always wins. A winner is someone who never lets a loss define them. They take the loss, they bleed from it, they learn from it. And then they stand back up like nothing can stop them. While others are drowning in self-pity, the winner is already planning their next move. It's not talent that separates the successful from the stagnant. It's grit. It's the decision to keep hammering when the wall isn't even showing cracks. I remember seeing a young artist who had been rejected from every gallery in his city. People said his style was too different, too raw, too unrefined. They laughed at his work. Some even told him to find a real job. But every single day he kept painting, not for validation, but because he knew something sacred was inside of him that needed to be expressed. Fast forward a few years, and that same artist is now being studied in art schools around the world. The same style they once called weird is now being called revolutionary. What changed? Not the artist. He stayed consistent. What changed was the world finally catching up to someone who refused to back down. He wasn't born famous. He was built relentless. That's how winners are formed, in obscurity, in silence, in seasons where nobody understands your drive, when you're doing things people don't clap for, sacrificing things nobody sees. You see, real building doesn't happen in the spotlight. The spotlight only shows what's already been constructed. And if you want your success to be unshakable, you've got to build it on something deeper than applause. You've got to build it on principle, on discipline, on daily habits that no one sees, but everyone eventually respects. Some people keep saying, I'm waiting for my big break. But let me tell you the truth. Your big break will break you if you haven't been built for it. Opportunity without preparation is a curse, not a blessing. That's why life doesn't hand success to everyone. It hands it to those who've become strong enough to carry it. You have to become the person who can sustain the success you're praying for. You have to build the mindset, the stamina, the emotional intelligence, the discipline, and the vision. You want to be promoted, but can you handle pressure? You want recognition, but can you survive rejection? You want a platform, but can you stay grounded when people misjudge your motive? Winners are not made on the stage, they're made in the shadows. They're formed in the fire, molded by pain, sharpened by setbacks. There's a young woman I know who dreamed of becoming a doctor. She failed her entrance exam twice. Her classmates moved on. Some told her to take another career path, but she stayed locked in. She studied while others partied. She woke up at 4 a.m. every day to rewrite her notes, drill flashcards, and revise anatomy. Today, she's a practicing surgeon saving lives. She wasn't born to win, she was built by refusal. Refusal to quit. Refusal to settle. Refusal to listen to voices that didn't understand her calling. You must stop waiting for a sign that you're ready and start building like you're already chosen. Winners don't wait for comfort. They train in discomfort. They don't wait for opportunities. They prepare as if the door will open tomorrow. They build stamina when no one's watching. They rehearse excellence even when there's no reward in sight. Building takes time. You'll question everything. You'll want to give up. You'll think it's taking too long. But brick by brick, you'll lay the foundation of something unshakable. Most people stop building because they don't see instant results. But winners know greatness is not microwaved, it's marinated. It's slow cooked in the furnace of repetition, humility, and hunger. The only reason some people are not walking in greatness is because they didn't stay long enough in the construction zone. They gave up in the scaffolding phase. They quit when the structure was halfway done. But the ones who kept building, even when it was hard, even when nobody understood, even when everything said stop, those are the ones you now call winners. You don't need to be born with privilege to become powerful. You just need a made-up mind. Winners are built when a person decides, I don't care how long it takes, I'm becoming everything I was designed to be. That decision alone is the first hammer strike that begins building the foundation. And if you can keep swinging that hammer through the storms, through the silence, through the waiting, one day the world will look at what you built and call it a masterpiece. But you'll know it was built in the moments no one else saw. Your actions must match your destiny. Your actions must match your destiny. That means you cannot say you're destined for greatness and continue living like mediocrity is your best friend. You cannot speak the language of legacy and behave like someone satisfied with leftovers. You don't get to say you want to change the world and still cling to habits that waste your time, rob your energy, and drain your discipline. If your destiny is high, your actions must rise to meet it. There is no shortcut. There is no discount. You can't pay purpose in pennies and expect $1 million result. Destiny is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. And your choices repeated daily form your behavior. Your behavior shapes your habits. And your habits, they are the bricks that build your future. Every time you hit snooze on your calling, you delay your promise. Every time you shrink in fear instead of standing in faith, you make room for regret. You were not designed to blend in. You were crafted to break through. But breakthrough doesn't come just because you believe. It comes because you behave like you believe. Let's talk real life. You say you're called to be a leader, but you show up late, cut corners, and complain every time pressure hits. You can't lead from that posture. You can't elevate from that mindset. Leadership isn't just a title, it's a trail of evidence. It's excellence. It's integrity. It's rising earlier than others. It's staying later. It's doing the hard things when no one's watching because your future is watching. Your destiny is watching. And it's asking, can I trust you with what I've prepared? I remember a young woman who said she felt called to speak on stages and transform lives. She had the gift. Her words could move hearts. But every time she had the chance to improve, study, read, practice, she made excuses. Netflix came first. Comfort came first. Social media came first. She was passionate, but passion without discipline is a liability. She wanted the results, but not the routine. She wanted the reward, but not the requirement. So years went by, and she wondered why doors didn't open. It wasn't because she wasn't called. It was because her actions didn't match the weight of her assignment. Destiny is not something you hope to walk into. It's something you prepare to carry. Imagine saying you want to be a world-class athlete, but eating junk every day. You want to be wealthy, but every dollar is wasted on impulse. You want a healthy relationship, but your habits are toxic and selfish. You want peace, but you refuse to let go of bitterness. The results don't lie. Your life reflects your rituals. You can't pray for purpose and then live in patterns that destroy it. Some people sabotage their future with their present laziness. They speak a vision but walk in procrastination. They claim they want elevation, but they refuse transformation. You can't move forward if you keep dragging yesterday into tomorrow. You can't soar like an eagle while clinging to the behaviors of chickens. People love the idea of destiny, but destiny is heavy. It demands structure. It demands separation. It demands consistency. The greater your calling, the greater your consecration. You'll have to walk away from certain circles. You'll have to shut your mouth when your emotions want to explode. You'll have to build when no one claps. You have to keep showing up even when the results are invisible. That's when destiny begins to notice you. Not when you scream for it, but when you prepare for it. Let me be clear. Destiny doesn't respond to dreams. It responds to discipline. You can visualize all you want, create vision boards, write journals, post affirmations. But if your feet never move in the direction of your words, you're only entertaining yourself. The most dangerous lie isn't the one others tell you. It's the one you tell yourself when you know you were made for more, but settle for less because showing up felt too hard. Every action you take either moves you toward your destiny or away from it. There is no neutral. When you sleep through your opportunity, someone else who was ready will rise. When you give 50%, someone who gives 100% will outrun you. When you refuse to stretch, someone else will grow, evolve, and claim the very thing you were too passive to pursue. Think of a builder constructing a skyscraper. They can't build on shaky ground. They dig deep first. They lay a foundation. They follow blueprints. They measure. They sweat. They stay patient. Why? Because the building must be able to stand when the storm hits. That's what your destiny demands, foundation before elevation. Your daily actions are the tools. Your discipline is the concrete. Your decisions are the beams. Don't say you want to stand tall if you're building with cheap materials. So start asking yourself hard questions. Does how I spend my time reflect where I say I'm going? Do my conversations match my calling? Does my circle sharpen or sabotage my direction? Are my private habits preparing me for a public platform? The truth is your results are a mirror of your preparation. You can't fake fruit. You can't fake mastery. You can't fake obedience to your own assignment. The world may not see it yet, but your actions are either building the bridge to your destiny or burning it down brick by brick. If you keep showing up, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when no one understands, you become dangerous. Dangerous to fear, dangerous to excuses, dangerous to mediocrity. Because now you're moving with intention. You're aligned. And aligned people can't be stopped by distractions. They're too focused building what they were born to carry. Let opposition prove you're on the right track. Let opposition prove you're on the right track. The truth is, resistance is the confirmation that you've left the zone of comfort. You don't get attacked in places that don't matter. You don't face opposition when you're doing nothing significant. People don't talk about the one who blends in. They talk about the one who breaks out. When you start pursuing purpose, you become a threat to everything average around you. And that's when opposition wakes up. Every time you feel pressure, pushback, or problems rising up against your progress, remember, this is the sound of movement. A plane doesn't fight gravity until it starts to take off. Nobody argues with a parked car. But when you begin accelerating, when you start moving towards your dream, friction shows up, not because you're wrong, but because you're finally right. You've stepped into territory that intimidates small thinkers, lazy spirits, and insecure minds. That opposition is not a sign to stop. It's your confirmation to keep going. Think about it. What if the very thing you're calling an attack is actually a compliment? What if the resistance is simply proof that you're doing something worth noticing? When people start doubting you, criticizing you, excluding you, it's not always because you're failing. It's because your light is too bright for their darkness. Your discipline confronts their excuses. Your hunger exposes their comfort. Your vision threatens their stagnation. And so they try to shrink you with words, with silence, with mockery. But don't bow. Don't explain yourself to those who chose fear over faith. You weren't made to be understood by everyone. You were made to obey your assignment, even when misunderstood. I once met a man who started a small business in a town where no one believed in dreams. They laughed at him. They told him he was too old, too late, too ambitious. But every no fueled him. Every door closed made him build his own. And now that same town that mocked him pays him. The same people who doubted him now celebrate his discipline. He let their opposition be confirmation. He said, if they're talking, that means I'm moving. And he was right. The The opposition was loud, but his purpose was louder. Opposition reveals who you are and what you're made of. It will either break you or build you. You can't be fragile and calm. You can't be thin-skinned and expect to carry weight. Pressure comes to polish, not punish. It comes to shape your character, not destroy your confidence. When you're being refined, you're being ready. The storm isn't personal, it's purposeful. The rejection wasn't an accident. The betrayal wasn't the end. It was an announcement that something bigger was coming and everyone couldn't go with you. In life, people will question your timing. They'll question your capability. They'll question your uniqueness. But don't let their questions become your confusion. Every great movement began with opposition. Every innovator was called crazy before they were called a genius. Every groundbreaker was first a rule breaker in the eyes of the fearful. So when you feel the friction, when you feel the heat, that's not a sign to turn back. That's the moment to tighten your grip, square your shoulders, and say, now I know I'm on the path of purpose. Let me ask you this. Do you really want a path with no resistance? Do you want to walk through life without challenge, without pressure, without being questioned? Because if that's what you want, then mediocrity will gladly have you. It will give you a seat, pour you a drink, and watch you waste your potential. But if you want to rise, if you want to lead, if you want to shake nations or transform lives, you must learn to welcome opposition as a sign that you're stirring the waters. Purpose is not polite, it's disruptive. It overturns what's comfortable to reveal what's necessary. Remember, the seed doesn't sprout without breaking the soil. The diamond doesn't shine without pressure. The gold isn't pure until it's been through fire. And your destiny won't come without resistance. Stop looking at struggle like it's a stranger. Start seeing it as the signal that you've finally started the climb. The higher you go, the stronger the winds. But that's also where the view is breathtaking. You weren't designed for easy. You were designed for excellence. And excellence will always attract attack before it attracts applause. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in your life will come right after your greatest battles. The enemy doesn't fight what isn't a threat. And some people you thought were friends will show their true faces when you start succeeding. But don't let their discomfort stop your development. Let the lies motivate your truth. Let the rumors push you deeper into discipline. Let the betrayal build your boundaries. Every stone they throw, stack it. Build with it. Rise on it. So when opposition shows up, don't be surprised. Be confirmed you're not off track. You're just in the proving ground. The resistance is your gym. The critics are your mirrors. The challenges are your staircase. Keep climbing. Keep pushing. Keep believing. Because the louder the noise, the clearer the signal you are getting closer. Closer to the version of you who walks with confidence, who leads with clarity, who speaks with authority, and who refuses to be shaken by shadows. The world responds to posture, not potential. The world responds to posture, not potential. That truth is hard for some people to accept because they believe having a gift is enough. They think potential alone will open doors, unlock opportunities, and elevate them to greatness. But the world doesn't reward what's hidden. It responds to what's demonstrated. You can be the most talented person in the room, but if you walk in like you don't belong, no one will hand you the mic. You can have all the vision in the world, but if your body language whispers fear and insecurity, the room will believe that more than your resume. Posture is your announcement before you speak a word. It's how you enter a room. It's how you sit in a meeting. It's how you handle disappointment. It's how you respond to confrontation. Posture says, I know who I am and I know why I'm here. Even if you're still growing, still learning, still becoming, posture makes the world lean in and say, there's something different about them. I've seen it time and time again. People with less talent, less education, and less experience get promoted over those who were clearly more qualified. Why? Posture. They showed up with presence. They carried themselves with boldness. They didn't wait to be picked. They acted like they were already chosen. While others were shrinking and doubting, they were standing tall, taking risks, and showing initiative. Potential might get you noticed once, but posture is what keeps the room listening. In everyday life, posture shows up in how you carry your confidence when life doesn't go as planned. When rejection hits, do you crumble or do you recalibrate? When you get overlooked, do you complain or do you work harder in silence? Your posture under pressure reveals your readiness. And let me tell you, every room you walk into is reading your posture. Your boss, your clients, your peers. Even the atmosphere is taking notes. Because the universe responds to clarity, boldness, and certainty. Think about the lion. It's not the tallest, fastest, or smartest animal in the jungle. But it walks like a king. It doesn't need to roar to be respected. Its presence speaks before its sound. That's posture. You might not be the most qualified, but when you show up with authority, people listen. Opportunities open. Because the world isn't waiting for another genius. It's waiting for someone who believes enough in their own assignment to walk like they own the space. Let me take you to the office worker who's been in the same job for 5 years. Quiet, consistent, good at their task, but invisible. Another person joins the team, less experienced, but they speak up in meetings, volunteer for new projects, and carry themselves with a contagious energy. Within 6 months, they're leading initiatives. Why? Because posture positioned them where potential alone could not. Or the young man who walks into a job interview, 2 candidates. Same education, same credentials. But one fidgets, stumbles over their words, avoids eye contact. The other walks in, firm handshake, straight posture, speaks with conviction. Who gets the job? The one who looked like they already belonged. The one who walked in like the chair was already theirs. Posture is not arrogance. It's not pretending to know everything. It's certainty wrapped in humility. It's saying, I don't have all the answers, but I've been called and I'm ready to grow. It's the quiet confidence that speaks louder than credentials. Because people don't follow perfection. They follow assurance. They follow the person who dares to believe in something bigger than fear. You can have the potential to be a powerful speaker. But if your posture says, don't listen to me, the crowd will obey. You can have the heart of a visionary, but if your posture screams, please don't notice me, the world will pass you by. You can carry healing in your hands, but if you hide them, the sick will never find relief. What you carry doesn't change the world. How you carry it does. And let's talk about your dreams. You say you want to build a business, launch a movement, write a book, mentor others. That's beautiful. But your dream needs more than imagination. It needs posture. Your dream is waiting for you to sit up straight, lift your head, speak up, and move with conviction. Stop acting like you're unworthy. Stop entering the room like you're doing the world a favor. You were born for this. Your gift is real. Your assignment is necessary. Walk like it. I've seen gifted people stuck in cycles of frustration because they're waiting for someone to recognize them. But here's the truth. No one will crown you until you learn how to carry your own crown. You don't wait for applause to validate your worth. You show up with posture that declares, whether you see me or not, I came ready. Because posture isn't about being seen. It's about being prepared. In the gym, posture determines performance. A slight misalignment and your whole workout becomes ineffective, or worse, harmful. But when your form is right, you activate power you didn't know you had. That's how life works too. When your inner posture is aligned with who you truly are, doors swing open. Strength gets released. You become magnetic, not because of luck, but because your alignment released your authority. So posture must be practiced daily in how you walk, how you speak, how you treat others, how you treat yourself. Because every room you enter is a test, not of your potential, but of your posture. And if your posture is weak, no one will care how powerful your potential is. But when your posture is aligned, even silence speaks. Even presence preaches. Even your walk declares, I was meant to win. You were not born to shrink into the shadows. You were designed to command light. Every step you take with conviction shakes the ground of hesitation. Every word you speak with clarity silences the noise of doubt. Every time you rise with boldness, heaven and earth take notice. So hear this, you don't need permission to win. You were already approved by purpose before you even arrived. Stop waiting for someone to open the door when you were born to build your own. Greatness isn't reserved for the lucky. It's claimed by the focused. You're not here to blend in with the average. You were set apart to disrupt the ordinary. You don't need to apologize for thinking big. You don't need to lower your volume to make others comfortable. The lion doesn't apologize for roaring. And you don't need to apologize for being powerful. They may have overlooked you, but your preparation was never in vain. Every delay had a purpose. Every rejection was a redirection. Every failure was a setup for the kind of victory only people with posture can carry. While they were doubting you, you were being developed. While they were mocking your pace, your foundation was being fortified. So don't despise the silent seasons. They were your training grounds. And now it's your time, not next year. Not when everything is perfect. Not when the fear is gone. Your time is now. Stand up, not just on your feet, but in your spirit. Speak, not just to be heard, but to bring transformation. Move, not just to go somewhere, but to shift something. Because real winners don't just chase dreams. They become the dream walking. The world doesn't need another imitation. It needs you raw, real, unfiltered, and on fire. You don't need to fake confidence when you carry clarity. You don't need to fake strength when your mind is made up. Power is not in pretending. Power is in showing up. The enemy of your destiny is not failure. It's hesitation. It's the voice in your head saying, you're not ready. But let me tell you, you are already qualified by the fact that you're still breathing. So wear your crown even if it feels heavy. Walk in rooms that intimidate you and remind yourself, I'm not here by accident. When you feel fear rise, answer with action. When you hear doubt whisper, drown it out with faith. Your posture in moments of pressure will echo louder than your words in moments of peace. Because anyone can talk like a winner, but only the disciplined can live like one. When they ask how you kept going, tell them, I remembered who I was when it was hardest to believe. Tell them, I walked like a winner even when I didn't feel like one. Tell them, I made excellence my standard when no one was watching. That's the difference. It's not in the spotlight. It's in how you act when the crowd is gone. Champions are crowned in silence before they're ever celebrated in public. You can't afford to let insecurity steal another season. You've cried long enough. You've doubted long enough. You've been sitting in the waiting room of destiny long enough. It's time to get up and act like you were meant to win. Because when your posture shifts, your life shifts. When your walk changes, your world changes. And when your belief matches your identity, there is no room you can't influence and no mountain you can't move. So raise your head, fix your posture, silence every lie, and walk like the future is already yours. Because it is. You're not here to take sides. You're here to take over. You're not here to compete. You're here to dominate. This is not the time to hide behind fear or settle for average. This is the hour where you shake the dust off your feet, wipe the tears from your eyes, and take what belongs to you. Because deep down, you've always known you were never meant to lose. You were never created to crawl. You were never formed to fade away. You were destined to lead, rise, shine, and overcome. So act like it, walk like it, speak like it, build like it, live like it, because you were meant to win.